The situation we are looking at today is one that touches the heart of justice, the safety of citizens, and the confidence people have in the legal system. When a public figure like Adams Oshiomhole openly expresses concern about how terrorism cases are being handled in the courts, it immediately brings attention to something deeper happening beneath the surface. Viewers, as you follow this breakdown, kindly remember to like this video and subscribe so you don't miss important updates like these. Your support helps us share these stories with more people. Oshiomhole raised an issue that many Nigerians have whispered about quietly, but very few have addressed publicly. He questioned why, in some terrorism cases, the punishment delivered by certain courts appears far lighter than what the law provides. He pointed to examples where individuals linked to serious violent acts that affected families, communities, and entire regions, ended up receiving sentences that some people consider too soft for the level of damage done. And that is where the concern begins, when the weight of the crime does not seem to match the weight of the punishment. Now, to understand why this conversation is so important, we must look at how terrorism cases affect ordinary people. Families who have lost loved ones, communities that have been traumatized, farmers who can no longer return to their farms, businesses that have been shut down. These are real consequences. When such communities hear that a terrorism suspect has been convicted but only received a reduced sentence, naturally they begin to wonder whether justice has truly been served. Please like this video and subscribe for more updates like this, because these matters affect every Nigerian in one way or another. Oshiomhole's point was very straightforward. He believes that some punishments handed out do not reflect the severity of the crime. He stressed that judges must follow the laws as written, and that certain forms of mercy, like reducing a punishment in a terrorism case, should not be exercised by the court unless the law specifically allows it. According to the Constitution, only the President has the power to grant national clemency, and that power cannot be assumed by anyone else. This is not just politics. It is a constitutional matter. However, to be fair and balanced, we must also understand the position of the judges. A judge cannot simply pass a sentence based on emotion. They must base their decision strictly on the evidence provided, the laws guiding the case, and the procedures followed during trial. If the prosecution does not present strong, convincing evidence for the highest charge, the judge is legally obligated to sentence based on the lesser offense that is actually proven. Even when society expects the harshest punishment, the judge cannot go beyond what the law supports. And this is often where misunderstandings arise between the public and the judiciary. Sometimes what looks like leniency on the surface is actually the result of legal technicalities, missing evidence, witness challenges, or procedural lapses that weaken the case. In some situations, prosecutors may fail to bring airtight evidence. In others, defense lawyers may exploit loopholes that reduce the charges. And in some rare cases, judges may interpret the law differently. All of these factors can influence the final sentence. Viewers, please like this video and subscribe, because these are the kinds of discussions that help people understand how the justice system works. Oshiomhole's concern, though, is that even with those realities, there still seems to be a pattern in some cases where the punishment simply does not meet public expectations. And when national security is involved, expectations are naturally higher. People believe that anyone found guilty of harming innocent citizens should face the full weight of the law. That is why this conversation has become so heated. It is not just about the courts. It is about national safety, accountability, and public trust. Let's go deeper. When justice feels weak, citizens lose confidence. They begin to question whether criminals are being discouraged at all. They begin to doubt whether the system can truly protect them. And in the worst situations, people start taking the law into their own hands because they believe the state cannot guarantee their safety. This is why sentencing matters. It is not just a number assigned by a judge. It sends a message to the country about what will and will not be tolerated. Kindly remember to like this video and subscribe as we continue. Your likes push the video to more viewers who need this information. On the other side, there are also people who caution against placing too much pressure on the judiciary. They warn that judges must remain independent. If they start ruling based on public emotion or political statements, the legal system becomes unstable. These observers believe that if a sentence is too light or seems inconsistent with the law, there is a proper channel. The prosecution should appeal to a higher court. They argue that the solution to a questionable sentence is higher judicial review, not public attacks on the integrity of judges. This situation shows the complicated balance between justice and law. Justice represents what society feels is right. The law represents what is written and proven. When both align, people feel safe. When they don't, as in this debate, tension rises. Moving ahead, Oshiomhole's comments have opened a door for bigger conversations. Should the laws be reviewed to make sentencing clearer? Should prosecutors receive more training and resources so they can avoid weak cases? Should terrorism cases be handled with specialized courts or better equipped investigative units? These are important questions, and they point to ways the system could be improved so that justice is not only done, but seen to be done. Please like this video and subscribe to stay informed, because this type of discussion will shape Nigeria's security future. Another critical point is that terrorism cases are emotionally heavy. People who lose loved ones want closure. They want assurance that the country is taking their pain seriously. When they hear that the person responsible might spend less time in prison than the law suggests, it feels like an insult to their suffering. Many of these families face lifelong trauma. No sentence can bring back what they have lost. But a strong sentence at least acknowledges their pain and reinforces that the nation values their lives. At the same time, it is important for citizens to understand that the justice system operates differently from public emotion. Judges handle facts, not public anger. And this is where communication between institutions and the public becomes essential. Citizens must be educated on why certain sentences happen and how the appeal process works. When people understand the system better, trust grows. This issue also shows how urgent it is to strengthen security. When violent crimes continue at a high rate, society becomes highly sensitive to sentencing outcomes. Every decision becomes a symbol of whether the country is winning or losing the battle against terrorism and violent crime. If the public sees strong, consistent justice, confidence is restored. If they see inconsistency, doubt grows. Please remember to like this video and subscribe as we move deeper into the discussion. Let's reflect again on the core of Oshiomhole's concern. He believes that consistent, strong punishment sends a clear message to anyone planning to harm innocent citizens. It shows that the nation will not tolerate violence. It assures families that the justice system is on their side, and it encourages security operatives who risk their lives daily. They want to know that when they arrest suspects, the courts will complete the job. But for that to happen smoothly, both prosecution and judiciary must work in harmony, following the law while ensuring that those guilty of serious offenses receive the appropriate consequences. At the same time, it is important to remember that judges are humans too. They can make errors. They can interpret laws differently. They can only rule based on what they are given. This is why building a stronger justice system requires more than criticism. It requires training, support, better evidence gathering, better collaboration between police, prosecutors, and intelligence agencies, and public awareness. We also have to consider something else. Nigeria is a diverse country with different regions facing different security challenges. The public reaction to sentencing often depends on the region affected. Communities that have experienced repeated attacks feel stronger emotions. They expect immediate and firm punishment, and when they do not see it, frustration grows. Meanwhile, regions with fewer incidents may not fully understand why the issue is so sensitive. This creates a national conversation where experiences differ, but every voice matters. This is why leaders, including Oshiomhole, speak up. The comments spark discussions that help the nation reflect on whether its systems are strong enough. These conversations push lawmakers to reconsider outdated laws, push courts to maintain consistency, and push prosecutors to present stronger cases. As we continue this gist, viewers should please like the video and subscribe so that you never miss updates on stories like these. Your engagement keeps the conversation alive.